And to the breaking political news now, we do have a new ABC News Ipsos poll, and it's our first look at how voters are reacting to the felony conviction of former President Trump. The polling started the day after the New York jury found Trump guilty on 34 counts of falsifying business records to hide hush money paid to porn actress Stormy Daniels. ABC News Political Director Rick Klein joins us live now from Washington with this. Rick, good morning to you. Let's take a look at the numbers here, because our poll suggests that 50% of Americans think the verdict against Trump was correct. 49% think he should end his campaign. So, Rick, what does that tell us?
Yeah, good morning, Gio. That is a really striking number. This is such a closely divided country, and the fallout from this verdict is no different. And to see it split along party lines is one thing, but to see these stark numbers and see that half the country thinks it was the verdict was right and almost half thinks he should drop out tells you something about the political damage or the potential damage that Trump faces. Most Republicans are backing Trump, but it was striking to me in this poll to see about 1 in 6, 16% of Republicans say that this verdict was correct and say he should drop out. Those are big, big numbers, but this has divided the country like so many other issues before it.
Big numbers, Rick, but these numbers change when you look at Americans who specifically view Trump and Biden unfavorably, and it's very interesting.
Yeah, this is a big headline out of the poll, Gio, because when you drill down on these numbers, you see 65% of the people that dislike both candidates, we're calling them so-called double haters in this race, think the verdict was correct, and 67% think that Trump should end the campaign. Now, why is that a big deal? Well, we have an election that has two candidates who are so historically disliked. This group of voters might actually decide this election. By some measures, they might be as much as 20% of the country. And for them to come out this strongly and feel like the verdict was correct and that Trump deserves some kind of a punishment and that Trump should actually drop out of the race, that tells you something about the mindset of voters like this. Now, some of them may not vote at all. Some of them may decide to go for a third-party candidate. Some might come back into the Trump fold when they're faced with the choice of Trump versus Biden. But that's a pretty big split. And to see two-thirds of voters that dislike them both agree on that is, to me, really something.
So, Rick, at the end of the day, did the trial hurt Trump and help Biden in any substantial way?
Not in these numbers, no, Gio. The perceptions of these men are so baked. They are just as popular, or should I say unpopular, as they have always been. And that hasn't changed as a result of this. Trump is no really worse for the wear, and Biden doesn't look any better. But I do think this is interesting as well. We should note that 47% of voters in this survey say that these charges were politically motivated. Now, of course, a similar number think that the charges were right. So both of those things can be true at the same time. People can think it's politically motivated and at the same time think that the charges should have been brought and that the case was rightfully decided. At the end of the day, this just tells you something about this polarized country and how the messaging now has to shift. If you're Joe Biden, this is a big opportunity for his campaign. If you're Donald Trump, you've kind of been saying the same thing all along, and you are seeing some traction from the argument that these were politically motivated charges, even though so much of the country thinks he is right to face punishment.
All right, Rick Klein with the new numbers. Thank you so much, my friend. And tune in to This Week Later. We'll have more on the poll. And George Stephanopoulos speaks with Trump attorney Will Scharf and Biden ally Governor Wes Moore of Maryland following Trump's historic felony conviction. Plus, George speaks with White House National Security spokesman John Kirby about the state of the wars in Ukraine and Gaza.